Hello and welcome to another installment of my series Overcoming CRPS. In this series, I showcase one of my many clients who has overcome CRPS and is moving on to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. These videos are just one of the places that you can see testimonies, but there are testimonies all over my Facebook group as represented here by these individuals in these screenshots. I want to feature these clients here to help any of you who are skeptical or worried about this process and show you that it is possible to overcome this condition and move on. So I think the best way to approach this is to let my clients speak for themselves. So following this intro, you will see one of them talking about their journey through pain coaching. And if you don't know who I am yet, my name is Chase Teagarden, and I not only was diagnosed with CRPS over 10 years ago, and overcame the condition myself after suffering in pain for 4 years. But I then went on to become a doctor of physical therapy and pain specialist who has treated CRPS for his entire career, helping individuals from all around the world. Not only do I offer one-on-one pain coaching, like I did with this client in this video, but I also offer an 8-week online self-guided CRPS program that will walk you through a similar process to the process I went through with the client you are about to see. So thank you to the client featured in this video. Thank you to all of you for watching, and I look forward to many, many more testimonies to come. So take it away.
um,
Sure.
but yeah,
Well, awesome. Do you think you're ready? You ready to take the reins from here?
yeah, I'll be fine.
I
I've
know
got to
you
be.
will.
I've got to be. I've got to be. It's been really, really helpful having
Good.
gone through the last 6, 7, however many years with this, and to have had this connection with yourself and
Mm.
the others, so that I knew then that I'm not alone on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that there are so many other people. I've got to close the blinds.
You're all right.
The sun is just. Oh, I can't reach it. Hold on. Just a second. Let me pop
You're
you
good.
down.
Okay.
Oh, that's better. I can see. It's getting a bit bright.
All right.
Mi-
There you go.
Sorry, where were we? Sorry.
You were talking about your future, and then the sun was showing you how bright it's going to be. No, you
Thank
said.
you. Thank you. That was lovely. No, it's been encouraging, and you've reminded me to do things that I'd sort of put aside a little bit, some of them.
Yeah. What I'd like to
Yeah.
do, if you're cool with it, is ask you some of those same questions since it's our last visit today.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so don't worry,
okay.
I can edit it as needed, if you get
Sure.
stuck or something, but you're pretty good. So um, what I'd like you to do is just introduce yourself to everyone and give them a little background of where you were before we started the coaching.
Oh, I have to remember
Uh-huh, it's been a bit.
because I've put it all behind me now. So where was
Yeah.
I? Where was I
Where,
from your point of view?
well, you weren't walking around as much, you were
Nope.
afraid to drive, afraid to get
Yep.
out of the house.
Yep.
You came in and you had a lot of fear about bone degeneration, all these things you've been told by doctors. I remember that being a theme, about things getting weaker and stuff like that. Yeah, just fear and worry, which is normal for
I will
dealing with
try and
that.
remember. Yeah, because I've put it all behind me now. I'm trying to move forwards and not backwards. But no, I can understand it could benefit other people. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you're reminding me of a couple of things there, and I'm sure there's probably way more as well. But yeah, it's hard to think back sometimes and think, where was I back in November? But I was going through a lot at that point in time too, wasn't I? We're moving back to England and everything else. So there was a lot of stress involved. But the
Yeah.
big, okay, okay. And then one of the biggest exercises that I did was coming to terms with how um, life events of the past, traumas, events, what's the word you used?
Yeah,
The
trauma.
the timeline,
Hmm.
yeah, how it connected, when something happened in my life, what happened to my body and
Yeah.
how things come out. So yeah, that was a big exercise to do. And the very first letter that I wrote, and I still haven't quite. I've done a bit of a letter to my middle self, but I'd
Uh-huh.
never quite finished it. I because life got in the way a bit, but I will get back to that at some point. And funnily enough, that writing a letter to yourself or others has come up in a few things that I've been reading or watching on TV or something like that. I keep seeing it. How weird is
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, it must work or something.
I think so. I think so. So fire away. Let's go with it.
Yeah, so you learned what I'm gathering is along the way, you learned that there was more going on with you than just physical problems, right? There was
Yes.
this
Yeah.
emotional, mental component that was making this pain manifest in your body in certain
I
ways.
believe so. I may not be able to use the words you're using, but like if you want
Yeah,
to take snippets out of this conversation, wherever you want to piece it together, that's fine.
you're
Yeah.
fine.
Because
We'll we'll
I go,
we'll put it all in because I think it's good to see everyone seeing, that authentic thought because it's, you know, as you've gone through in the books I've suggested and things like that, you've started to notice, okay, yeah, when I went and I was doing stuff with my mom, I had certain worries, and then my foot started acting up. Who would have thought, And um, when I started having some worries about visiting the doctor, or some of the things that were happening, my foot started acting up. Who would have thought? And you started to see that pattern, right?
uh-huh, uh-huh. In fact, I've got another one going on at the moment that I haven't mentioned with you for some time now. But
Uh-huh.
yes, I've got a lot of stress going on in my life at the moment. What with trying to sell a house and find somewhere to live and da 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 da. And guess what's going on with my stomach? You know, it started
Uh-huh.
at Christmas
Mm-hmm.
and it's got worse. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to think about it. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to eat sensible and do everything I can.
Yeah.
But I am actually seeing the consultant. Uh, it'll be May. I'm waiting for the appointment. See the May or June. But everything here takes such a long time on the NHS to see anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it private because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that I think has something, the stress going on in our lives here has, like you say, possibly manifested in my stomach because
Yeah.
my foot is way, way better. My knee is getting better. I'm feeling stronger in myself, more confident in myself. It's just this last hurdle, getting over this last hurdle. But I think that's life in general, isn't it? You're always going to have hurdles of
For
one
sure.
type or another, and it's how you manage it and
Yeah.
try and be positive and uh I don't know. I'm trying to think what I tell my mom. I say, oh, if you say somebody cheer up, that's not always a good thing to do. But if you say like, well, what did you do good today? How do you feel? What was great today?
Yeah.
Not don't focus on the things that like are causing you discomfort, but think of the things that you have done and you've enjoyed and be positive.
Yeah.
Whether it's baking a cake or not that I do that, but cooking or
Yeah.
oh, my seeds are growing in my garden. Things like that, because they are actually, they're
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got masses of seedlings. However, I've got to get down there and split them all up now, and I don't know how I'm going to do that yet because I can't kneel on my knee, not yet.
Yeah. You'll get
But
there
no,
now that
think
the
go.
foot pain's gone.
Mm, yeah,
You'll
yeah,
you'll
yeah, definitely. I just have to sit on something next to it or something and try and do it.
yeah.
And my little sunflowers I put in pots a week ago, they're shooting up already.
I love it. Well, speaking on that note and thinking of all the things you've accomplished, what all are you doing now for people that don't know yet? What all are you doing now since we started coaching? What have you gotten back to or started that's new?
Mm, well, the walking is the big thing. It's
Mhm.
massive. And getting out of the house, definitely, because I
Yeah.
couldn't do that. I
Yeah.
was petrified of walking out by myself, and walking much further distances than I've ever done in I would say probably about 8 years plus, more than that probably.
Yeah.
Because when I first started getting symptoms in my foot, that's going back a long, long way. It was back when we were in England, so that's 13, 14, 15, 16 years ago when I first started getting things.
Yeah.
But now I can go out there and I can walk. And that is massive to me. Um, I have a static bike here, which I do every morning, which I haven't done this morning because I got interrupted by something else. But I have a static bike that I try and do every morning. Oh, something I haven't done before is join a gym.
Uh-huh, there it
I
is.
joined the gym. It is a what they call a rehab gym. So they focus on people that have had issues of some type or other.
Yeah,
And it's mostly people of the, let's say, post 55 age range, something like that.
yeah.
They look after you, they take care of you, and you just go around the circuit in a way that they have set out for you, and you're only given things that to do that they feel you are able to do, and then they'll assess you every so often, and then maybe make it a bit harder. Now, joining a gym was massive because I not done that for a long time.
Yeah.
So just doing that has been great. And my foot cope really, really well. And the more I'm doing with my body, making it move, making it, use the muscles that you've got and try and just push yourself a little bit harder each time. Some days are better than others. We all have those ups and downs. So,
Sure.
but I just try and keep smiling. After a very long time of foot discomfort, joint discomfort, everything, I try and not focus on that and just like try and do something. I try do something else to take my
Yeah,
mind off of it.
yeah.
There are some things I would like to get back to, but I am a bit of a struggle with it. But you remember this little project I started ages ago?
Uh-huh.
Where's the camera?
Yeah,
I'm not.
I see it.
Yeah, it's growing, but it's not where I want it to be
It's all right.
because this is crochet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my wrist here
Mm-hmm.
going down to this elbow, which I've had operated on before.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I just have to keep it moving and stretch it and exercise it,
Yep.
get this joint going in here.
Yep.
So I do it rather than not do it at all. I just do a little bit at a time
Sure.
to
Yeah,
try
that's
and
the
keep it
approach.
moving. Other than that, I do something else.
So you've gotten back to walking, you've gotten back
Yeah,
to doing things in the garden.
yeah,
You're at a place where you could drive if you wanted to.
I will get
Um,
there.
yeah, which was a huge thing for you, even pushing the pedal. I don't know if you remember that, but you were afraid of pushing the pedal
Well,
or
I've
hitting the
been,
brake.
yes, 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 all those
Um,
movements that you do in the car. This
yep,
car we have is a automatic, so there's not a great deal you actually have to go do.
sure.
As Pete keeps telling me, it's auto. We can
Uh-huh.
put it on, there's a lot of speed restrictions around here for quite, lengthy periods of time. And if it's, let's say, 40 km miles an hour or whatever, you can set the car to 40 km and it will just do that.
Hmm.
And it'll brake as needed. And it's, yeah, you just don't have to do very much at all. I've just got to get used to the new technology in new vehicles now, which obviously my previous car, way long time ago, wasn't. It was semi-auto.
Yeah,
Um, and it didn't have all these funky things they have in cars nowadays.
yeah.
But I did have paddle shifts, and I used to like those.
Okay, so you're ready in a place where you're ready to drive.
I'm getting
You're
excited about it, and I
yeah,
really want to do that.
yeah.
So what
You
else is
you've gone to the beach, the
several times
sand.
now?
Uh-huh.
Several. I walked on sand.
Yep.
First time in years.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. We did do it when we lived in Asia, but it was quite a while ago. I did it a couple of times, but this walk was way different.
Yeah.
This was up a hill, so it was like a dune.
Yeah.
Um, so walking on that type of sand was, I didn't think I'd be able to do it. And I said to myself, I have to get to the top of that hill because I want to see the sea. You had to go up the sand dune to see the sea.
Uh-huh.
And I said to myself, I'm going to do this. And I just keep telling myself, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And and Peter was with me and he encouraged me along as well. And when I get to the top of the hill, it wasn't a massive hill, right?
Uh-huh.
So that was my first steps in doing something that would normally be totally uncomfortable and I wouldn't want to do it. And I did it. And I got to the
Yeah.
top and I felt so happy
Yeah.
having just done that and then walked back down it again.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
did it.
yeah, and I did it. Because when I walked on sand previously with my foot, it was really not very nice.
Mhm.
But now it didn't cause me any discomfort at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's
um, yeah, I'm pleased. And
um
then from then it was the next hill and the next hill and the next hill and the next hill. And the ones down in Devon, out in Dartmoor, wow, that was absolutely amazing. Honestly, we used
mhm.
to live down that way many, many moons ago, and
Yeah.
I used to hike when I was a lot younger. I used to hike a lot, and I used to love going over the Dartmoor, which is I don't know what's the equivalent over there.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, America. You're not in America. You're in Japan.
In Japan now, yeah. So
It's hilly, very, very hilly for miles
sure.
and miles and miles, and nothingness. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I used to walk all the hills, and I thought we got to this area where I said, "There's a hill there, and there's something up there, and I want to do that. I want to walk up there." And there was actually a a monument with a cross on it up this hill. It was like a monument to something that I can't remember now. That's a bit sad, isn't it? Anyway, so I thought I'm going to do that, and I did it. I did it. I didn't
Yes, you
get
did.
all the way to the very top of the hill because it's one of those hills where you get to one thing and you think it's the top, and you look on a bit and it's like it carries on.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that's enough. That was enough. That was
Yeah.
enough for me just to do that, and then walk back down again because it's the down movement that can be a bit uncomfortable. But I did it.
You did do it. You've overcome and done a lot of stuff. And, you know, during our time coaching, what would you say the most important thing you learned was?
Trust in yourself.
Mm,
Um, oh my word, it's really hard to pinpoint a particular thing.
yeah.
Believe in yourself that you can do it, and think of the positive rather than the negative.
Yeah.
Uh, don't be afraid to talk out. You know, if you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. It's better to talk than not talk. Communication is really key in a lot of this, and or not just like yourself, but or like people in the group, but the people closest to you, so that they understand. Like I had to explain to Peter about the words to use instead of like don't don't keep asking me how I am because that's not helpful.
Right.
You know, it's better to for him to say something like what did you do that was really good today? Yeah,
Yes.
something like
Yes.
that. Or I hear you did so and so, and that's great. You know, be positive. If they can
Yeah.
talk more in a positive way, it's better. I mean, he has been with me all the way through this journey, so he knows what I've been up against. He knows the hurdles and the pitfalls and everything else. And changing your words so that you are nice to your brain, you are nice to yourself. Don't use words that scare you. As I have learned through you, Chase, that if you say something about your discomfort in such a way that I don't want to say it because it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like the examples I'm talking about is like
for sure.
being stabbed in the back or something. What does that tell your body? It's scary. So
Yeah.
don't do it. Just
Yeah.
say, "Oh, it's so discomforting," um, and I'd
I'm
like
having
it.
bananas.
Yeah, I changed I don't use the word PAIN. Do not
Uh-huh.
use it, which is why I didn't buy your t-shirts because it's got that word. I'm sorry. You
It's
need to
okay.
change it to
I'll do a
something
bananas
else.
version.
Yes, please do. I'd buy one of them.
Okay.
Bananas. Yeah, that's brilliant. And I do because I use that word. Other people use other words. I know that.
Sure.
Um, but I just say, oh, it's banana. If it's a minor banana, then it's a singular.
Uh-huh.
If it's like, oh, it's two bananas, or if it's like really, really, really uncomfortable, then I'll say it's a bunch of bananas. So
Yeah.
it sort of works.
Yeah. Or I'm going
Yeah.
bananas.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that as well. Sorry, my nose is really tickling. It's annoying me.
Yeah.
Dear. So
So,
no, so learning to change language, learning to look back at your past in a positive way somehow, and it's not easy because when I wrote my timeline
yeah.
and my first letter to myself of my younger years, when I was having a lot of during my younger years, there was a lot of trauma in my life, a lot,
Yeah.
and I had to recognize it, and I had never ever ever really looked at it so deeply. So in writing that letter, which took me several months, and I had to piece things together bit at a time, and it's bits of your life that you don't want to look back at, you don't want to think about, but I did. I made
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
and just putting some things down into words made me feel better. Definitely
Yeah.
made me feel better.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the hardest things to do. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's helped me to come to terms with quite a few things actually.
Well,
With with,
I can see
with
the
your
emotion on
guidance,
your face when you talk about it. So,
yeah, it's there. It's still there. It's still there.
yeah.
You never really forget things, not 100%,
Yeah.
because they're still there. And now I've dragged it out from way back there that I buried it. I've pulled
Mhm.
it out, and like it's life. And yeah, okay, it happened.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
Yeah.
We've recognized it. I've thought about it. I've
Yeah.
matched it with things that happened to my body during those periods of time that I didn't realize could have been related, but most likely they were.
Yeah.
Um, and just letting go of that and moving forward, having thought about it, you've got to think about it. You've got to put it down in writing or something like that. And
Yeah.
even if you don't do anything with it, once you've written it down, you can tear it up, burn it, bin it, whatever. You don't have to send it to anybody. It's just the pure act of writing things down of things that can be really, really horrible that's happened in your life. And you know what they were, Chase, because I've told you about it. And I
Yeah.
don't want to go over that again.
You don't have to. And I think that that's the biggest thing that people forget. There's all these other treatments you could do. There's nerve blocking, nerve burning,
Oh,
cord
yeah,
stimulating, there's
yeah,
scrambler, there's ketamine. But the
yeah.
problem, the problem is they'll get you a certain distance, but until you really look at the stuff that you've buried and pushed down into your
Uh-huh.
body
Agree,
and let it out,
agree,
that pain will still linger because it's serving a
agree.
purpose. And so,
It's
yeah,
getting absolutely. I mean, I've tried lots of things, but when my pain management consultant back in Singapore, I said to him, "What can we do?" And it was this med, that med, that med, that med. And I tried loads of them. Most of
yeah,
them made me do lale, made me go mad, made me just not myself, uncomfortable, sick, dizzy, da 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 da. I said, "Don't want them. Chuck them away,"
yeah,
which I
yeah,
did. And then I went back to him again. He said, "Well, okay, the other things we can give you is the ones you just told me about just there." So you mentioned the nerve blocker, all those different things. There was like three different nerve blocking type things.
yeah,
And having gone through umpteen surgeries, I thought I'm not having any more intervention to my body, not ever
mhm,
again.
mhm,
And I said, "No, thank you." And I walked away. And it was at that point I started looking around the internet to try and find something other than medical intervention or
yeah,
medications or anything like that. There's got to be a way. And that's when I started learning about being positive and stuff like that, and getting rid of initially got rid of the neuropathy, um, the CRPS, other types of symptoms, the other however many there are.
yeah,
They remained for a long time until November, until we met and we
yeah,
started talking and getting me to do different things, exercises, and all different techniques. And that has been immense and really helped.
yeah.
And sorry, I have to say this, getting a dopamine hit without meds.
Uh-huh. From
You can do it. You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
Yeah?
from
Dopamine, right. Okay, do something happy, something joyful, like just having a hug with somebody. if it's possible, if you've got somebody you can hug.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know, just
Excellent.
write a loving letter to yourself as well, and anything's possible to
Yeah.
try and get this dopamine hit because it does make you feel better.
Yeah.
You know?
Whether it's from exercise, gardening,
Yep,
crocheting,
yep.
spending time with family. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's the natural medicine. People forget we can create painkillers just from life.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And I've read all about that, and I've been reading more about it in one of these books that umpteen books that I've got through you. Uh,
Yeah.
there's a whole section on the dopamine thing. Like get happy on life,
Yeah.
even if you feel it's a challenge or like it's how am I going to do it? Just try, even baby steps.
Yeah.
One, what is it? Saying you say
1% each day.
1%. That's the one.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a little teeny bit each day, it's important, and it's important to you for yourself just to say you did a little tiny bit, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I was at
Yeah.
last November. Like, let's push forward just a titchy weeny bit,
Yeah.
you
We
know?
started with the smallest amount and now, you know,
Absolutely.
3.5 miles, like you said the other day. So,
Yeah, and I want to exceed that. I want to exceed. I
well, I'll tell you,
I found another mountain. It's not a mountain, it's a hill. But to me, it's a mountain, right? I
yeah,
found another one nearby, and I want to try and do that one weekend. I don't know when yet.
let's do it. And when you do, I hope you tell us about it in the Power
Yeah, I
Club
will.
and
I
on
will.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah.
the next thing I was going to ask you is, do you feel like you fear CRPS the same way you used to?
No,
Good.
not really. Not really, because it's that's a title. It's a
Hmm.
word, it's a description. Or not
Hmm.
even a description, it's just a title, it's a name. And
Yeah.
I don't like names. I've gone away from it now.
Yeah.
I've had so much dealings with consultants and surgeons and doctors and everybody else, and they put names on everything.
They
You
do.
got this, you got that, you got something else, you got that, da, da. And all that does is puts pressure on you.
Yeah.
You've got a label. It's a label. That's all it is a label.
Yep.
And
Well,
we can fight that using our own bodies by being positive to yourself, being kind to yourself, love yourself.
absolutely.
Yeah. So the word, I'm not saying it anymore.
Don't
You
have
just,
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's, I hardly use it now, to be honest. Um, it can be challenging when you're talking to a medical person
Sure.
that you have to go to as a regular routine thing. Like, I've got a diabetic check coming up,
Yeah.
and I had to go and give bloods, and they had to. My body doesn't like giving blood.
Yeah.
They struggle with getting veins. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the conversation came about. How 3 attempts to get blood out of me. Oh, I can't remember now. But there was a stage where sticking a needle in me with that particular condition that I was labelled,
Uh-huh.
which you just
Uh-huh.
talked about, just sticking a needle in me used to be like, oh, yeah,
You used to be worried. Yeah, sure.
yeah, totally. Oh my goodness. But no, I mean, she tried 3 times to get it out, and it didn't bother me one bit.
Yeah. So this is fantastic. You've let go of the fear that so perpetuates the condition.
Yeah,
And that's amazing. Like you said in the beginning, I don't even think about it where I started because I put it behind me now.
yeah,
That's exactly where the objective is with pain coaching for you to get to. And
yeah,
it's funny you say like it's just a label. The third chapter in the book I'm writing for this year is called
right.
alphabet syndromes, because that's what
Okay.
doctors do. They just label a whole bunch of stuff, whether it's the one we just talked about or, you know,
Yes,
all those other ones I could name.
yes.
None of them mean anything. What the
Just a
plan is still
word.
the same, and it's exactly what we did with you, and
Yeah,
and that's getting
yeah.
you back to life.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't like to talk about that word anymore because yes, sometimes you have to because you're in a situation where somebody has asked you about your past, for instance, and you can say, "Oh, it was just a condition,"
yeah,
but
yeah,
or like there was something, yeah. But
Yeah.
It can be quite challenging sometimes, but I'm trying not to use that word too much now.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. And now that you're not that word. You're Cheryl. And so
I'm me. I'm
yeah.
me, and I want to get. I've still got more of me to find.
Yeah, you've
I
got
know
more
that
letters to write, more things to do.
I have. I've got still got lots to do, and my this this is like my Bible.
Uh-huh.
I keep referring to this because when I'm having an, a moment, I just call it a
Uh-huh.
moment. When I'm having a moment, I'll sit for a while and I'll just flick it open and read a bit
Yeah.
somewhere because there's so many bits in there that are so relevant. And
Yeah.
that one's I really enjoy that book. It took me ages to get started with it, I must admit. But ever
Hmm.
since then, I like pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. And I've got the other ones over there, the ones you big pile of books. I've got several of those now.
Yeah.
Um, sort of working through them slowly.
Yeah.
And I think they do help, even if you just read a tiny bit each day.
Yeah. Yeah. Just re for so long you're taught that your body is failing, there's something wrong with your doohickey and your whatchamacallit. But the
Mm,
reality is there are certain aspects of life we need to understand and heal, and then eventually we move forward. And that's emotionally, but then also physically conditioning ourselves because we've been sedentary for a certain amount of time.
yeah, oh
So
yeah, definitely.
with just like the title of that book, Mind Body, we worked on the mind, we worked on the body, and now you're in a place where sky's the limit. I think for you, Cheryl, it's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be better. This is
Yeah.
my what's that phrase I heard the other day, which I thought was absolutely it was so funny.
Oh.
Okay. I okay, of I'm a bit older than you.
Uh-huh.
Not much, but I'm a little bit older than you.
Just a couple years.
I'm calling myself a recycled teenager because
Okay.
when you're a teenager, you've got all these hopes and dreams ahead of you. And you're starting at the beginning and you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and so on and so on. And gradually you do. You may not
Yeah.
get everything done, but you get a fair bit done in life and you enjoy life. You don't, when you're a teenager, you don't have those stresses of money and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
just get on with things and you do it, don't you? Well,
Yeah.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
trying.
awesome. Yeah.
I'm trying. Recycled teenager.
I love it. A new lease on life is what I'm hearing.
A new lease on life. Exactly. This is my second or third or fourth or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying my best. Oh, I stopped the rehab. The place I was going to. I
Yeah.
went
Yeah. Yeah.
once, and she's left me on like what they call an open appointment for until like December or something.
Yeah.
But I said I'm all right. I'm okay. I don't need any further
Yeah.
treatment
You
with
got it.
yourself because I've got it. I've done it with you.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So,
You've got it under
I don't.
control.
Yeah, I don't need that. But I needed a tick box on my medical record to say that yes, I went,
Sure.
sort of thing, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So I just thought I'd let you know that.
Yeah. Well, I want you to know, in summary, before we wave goodbye to YouTube for the testimony, right? I want you to know that I'm just so proud of you. From the first day when I heard you talking to me about your worries on the Zoom, and I'm not sure you remember it, but in the group Zoom, you were talking to me, and it was from a place of distress,
Yeah.
about what was happening, what was going on. And now, just as you just talked about, you're coming from a place of excitement and joy. And that is the whole goal of coaching.
Oh,
It's not, my
right.
objective is not physical therapy, it's not strictly psychology. It's some kind of perfect hybrid to
It's a mixture.
reconstruct life.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree with you. And it's been so helpful
I'm glad.
getting my life back, getting able, just having the right mindset to be able to do things uh, in a good way to feel better. And
Yeah,
I do feel better as long as I'm doing something. When we finish this call, I got to get up because I got to go and do some cooking. And I enjoy doing that
yeah.
and making paella.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, I do too. So, and it's seafood, so it's good for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, so just trying to do a little bit of something you enjoy every day even if it's just a little tiny bit, no matter what it is. It's all
Yeah.
important to you.
Yeah. That's what makes life worth it. And
Yeah.
I'll say, welcome back, Cheryl. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you've come this far. And I'm also glad you're in the power club so we can keep talking
Yes,
and keep going.
yes, yes. Um, the Power Club sounds interesting, and you've got that interaction with other people too, so that's good. It's nice
Yeah.
to keep that up. I
Yeah.
think even I've done the pain coaching with yourself, which has been incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't need any more of this at the moment, not one-to-one direct, but I
Sure.
think just to keep the interaction going in a different way will be really helpful too.
Yeah.
So
And
moving forward,
the power club is going to be a lot more than just a book club too. I mean, that's kind of
right?
like the tease to get you in, but the idea is it's a supporting community, and um
Yeah,
it has a whole platform that I'm building out, so it'll be really cool. But
it
let's
sounds good. I'm
yeah,
looking forward to that.
let's wave goodbye to YouTube and then we'll wrap up our call.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Hello to those of you that made it to the end of the video. In the video, Cheryl mentioned a few times a letter she wrote to her younger self, and that letter was really, really powerful. And so if you made it this far, I'd like to just end the video with that letter being on screen for about 30 seconds. You can pause if you want to really read it all. But I think it's truly meaningful and a testament to what true healing looks like through pain coaching and getting over and past and moving beyond this acronym, this alphabet syndrome, this thing we call CRPS. It does not have to define you, does not have to rule your life. It takes time and effort and hard work, but it is possible to get to where Cheryl's at. So take a look at her letter to herself. I hope it resonates with you in the same way it did me and many others. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.